We will be joined by two football analysts in Terry Phelan and Mark Seagraves. For football fans, these two need no introduction. Terry Phelan, of course, a back defender who has played for big clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City. And Mark Seagraves, also an English defender, professional footballer who's also plied his trade for big clubs like Liverpool and Manchester City. Thanks so much for joining us, gentlemen, as we build towards that big final. It's Spain versus England, and just to set the record straight, let me get your predictions right at the start. I'll start with you, Terry, on this one. Tell us, who are you picking on this particular encounter and why?
Oh, gee whiz, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because, you know, you've got Spain, who have been undefeated, obviously, scoring lots of goals. I think they've scored 13 goals. The goals are coming from everywhere, you know, young Lamal and Olmar. Danny Olmar, obviously, is playing absolutely out of his skin. Morata's not doing too well up there, but I mean, they've got pace and quality about them. They've got Rodri in midfield. So, I mean, Spain would be favourites, wouldn't they, at the end of the day, you know, if we go right through it. Obviously, the English have stuttered a little bit. England have stuttered a little bit in the, obviously, coming through the qualifying stages, and then obviously into the round of 16, semi-finals, the quarterfinals, semi-finals. Now they find themselves in the finals. And, you know, I always say this, it's a difficult one. I mean, Spain's favourite. I think Spain's set a new culture, haven't they? They've had a new culture. If you look right through the 70s, you know, that wonderful culture they had. They was always tough and strong and hard to play against. And then the Barcelona philosophy come through with Johan Cruyff and that. And they've won trophies. We know what they've won in the past. We know a lot of the players play for Barcelona. Now it's another different culture with another wonderful set of players. And they play completely different football. Very attacking-minded football they play, the Spanish. I mean, the Spanish are favourites, aren't they? But don't put it past England. They've had past experiences. They're well-grounded. Yes, they haven't been playing great in the Euros, but they've been getting over the line, and it's about winning your games. How you win them, it doesn't matter, but it's about winning the games, and they find themselves in the final for the second consecutive time. So that just tells you something about the English mentality, and they've got something to prove. I think a lot of pressure's on England more than Spain, but it's an hard one. It's a really hard one. It's a real hard one to call. My heart says England, my head says Spain.
Okay, as Terry there summing up, there's no easy answer on this one. Two teams that are playing contrasting football. Mark Seagraves is also with us. Mark, you know, Terry there spoke about the previous final that England played. It's their back-to-back Euro final, but that one, I remember, was a cagey affair. Italy versus England. Both defensive mindset that we saw from both teams eventually goes into the penalty shootout. This time around, it's a clash of philosophy. England using their power and speed, Spain, on the other hand, using their, you know, finesse skills as well as possession football. This time, you can't really think of it as being a cagey affair. You're going to see a few goals. I'm going to ask you the same questions. Make your pick.
Do you know what? I look at tournaments and I look at teams, and Spain have been absolutely scintillating. They haven't yet had a bad game, if you like. Whereas England have struggled. They've been behind on most occasions and got back into the game, whether it's in the 90th minute, the 95th minute, whatever it is. At some point, Spain are going to play badly, and England are going to play well. I look at both sets of teams and squads, and I think they're both matched in terms of quality that they have. So I think it's in England's hands. They've had the experience of being in the last final and losing. They've had the experience of being in a World Cup final, semi-final, and losing. So maybe this is third or fourth time lucky for Gareth Southgate and the players.
Steady to you on this one. We just saw the bookmakers' predictions, very different to what I've been reading online in terms of what the football pundits are picking. So I'm going to ask the two pundits that join us on the broadcast. I'm starting with you, Terry, on this one. Bit surprised that the bookmakers are giving England that edge in the final, despite Spain playing the more attractive and dominant football in the tournament.
I'm very surprised, because listen, at the end of the day, a lot of people's on the English's backs, is saying they're not playing attractive football. They're not playing the football we want them to play. We've got wonderful players in Foden. We're not giving him the freedom. I think the last few games, he got that freedom. And Saka's been, unsung and all. We know Bellingham's been doing a couple of goals. Bellingham is. I think the back four's been kind of solid. Rice in that midfield has been doing his Rice things, just getting on the ball. It's nice and simple. Harry Kane's been a little bit disappointing, to tell you the truth, but he's always going to be a threat. Yeah, I am a bit surprised, but take nothing away from the Spanish team. The Spanish team have been wonderful, but at this present time, we're coming into a final. Anything can happen. I said in the last game for England, and I get a little bit excited here. I said in the last game to England, with our coaches at South United Football Club, listen, England have got an hard game to come up against, but against the Dutch, they can get through. And the reason they can get through is a stroke of luck. They might not play well, but you need a stroke of luck in tournament football. And England got that stroke of luck with the penalty, didn't they, really? And they see them through in another final. So, listen, you can't knock England. You can't put them down yet. We'll have to wait and see. It is a difficult one. If you go man for man, pound for pound, yes, Spain are scoring more goals from all different areas of the pitch. They've got exciting players in wide areas in the midfield. Rodri, we know what he's done for Spain and Manchester City. It's going to be a dogfight, isn't it? It's going to be a real dogfight. It's going to be like the Spanish Armada all over again.
Okay, Mark, I'll take that same question to you. Terry is surprised, but somebody tells, I just get a feeling that you may not be too surprised, because listening to your initial answer, you think that England might hold that edge, right? They could be dangerous on a given day, considering a lot of their players have played in big finals. Spain have a great record, but this is a new generation. They don't have that experience of playing in the big final. Is that the reason why probably the bookmakers have given England that slight edge?
I mean, I'm probably going to be more biased towards England, but I feel that England's squad is better than the Spanish, albeit the Spanish have got really good players who are playing well. You've got the likes of Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, obviously Nico Williams and Lamal. They've got them players. Now, they've all played really well and come to the party, haven't they? Obviously, Lamal in the last game with that amazing goal that he scored. But England also have world-class quality players who have struggled. They've laboured through games and they've looked leggy, they've looked tired, they've looked misshapen on times in terms of the way the system is. I think you've got to give Southgate some credit in terms of he's changed the system from a back four to a back three. He's obviously seen what's happened and it wasn't working. So if it's not working, you fix it. And they've looked a lot better in the last couple of games, albeit they still struggled. But I feel if England put it together in this 90 minutes or 120 minutes, whatever it will be, I think they've got too much for the Spanish team. And especially the Spain team, which defensively, I'm not convinced with. The central partnerships within the middle there, whether it's Lenormand and, Laporte, or you've got Nacho in there. I think you could get at them, and whoever Gareth Southgate plays up front, whether it's Harry Kane or whether it's Ollie Watkins or whether it's Ivan Toney, I think they'll have too much for the Spanish defence. Right,
interesting, Mark, you're talking about defensive frailties of the Spanish team. Let's not forget Dani Carvajal, who missed out on the semi-final. Arguably, the best right back in the world is going to be returning for the final. He missed out because of a suspension. Now he's available for the final. You expect the Spanish team to be playing him. On the other side, Mark was talking about this new formation, 3 at the back that Gareth Southgate has been going with. Who knows, maybe for the final, looking at the Spanish team and their attacking prowess, they may still go back to that back 4. But it's going to be a tactical battle too. Terry, to you, we're talking about this being a battle between Spain and England, battle between two contrasting philosophies. Many are also saying this could be a battle between two leagues. So is Spain versus England in Euro also a contest to decide which is the best league in the world? Because many are also labeling it as English Premier League versus La Liga.
No, I don't. I don't agree with that. This is we can't agree with that because if you look at the EPL, there's a lot of foreign players in the EPL now, as well as Spain. But let's talk about it's the countries, isn't it? And Harry Kane plays in Germany. Majority of the English players are playing in England, which is healthy. And it's good, and they're playing at the top clubs, and that's only a good thing. Same as the Spanish guys, but you look at Bellingham. Bellingham's playing in Spain. What has he done for Real Madrid at this present time? He's won the Champions League. He's won La Liga. He's taken the place by storm. Could it be his day at the weekend? Early Monday morning. Could it be his day? Could he put one over on the Spanish? But a lot of people are saying the same thing. Will it be the best of the best? Listen, Real Madrid, they've won the Champions League, haven't they? So they're the best team in Europe. Does that mean La Liga's the best league in the world? I don't know. Listen, it's up there, but I think there's different differentiations we can work on that. If we talk about money and payment and what players are earning and transfer fees, you look at the EPL. And TV rights. But, I don't know if I want to go down that road. But listen, let's look at two countries coming together and hopefully playing wonderful football.
Okay, they've had a few speed bumps on the way to the final, but once you reach the final, we've heard from our experts, all you need is one good day and a bit of luck and you can upset the apple cart, because at the moment, the other team, that is Spain, are absolutely on fire. We've had a look at this English journey. Terry Phelan, former Chelsea and Manchester defender, is still with us. Terry, the one big question, if we take a look at this particular English team, if they have to win the final, one player has to come good. So ahead of the finals, the English fans are really asking, will the real Harry Kane please stand up?
Listen, let's rewind a little bit. If you look at Harry Kane in yesteryear, he was quick, he was agile, when he was playing for Top-Notch. But I think the last few years he's had a few bad injuries, a few knocks, especially his ankles, because he's centre forwards. They're always going to get defenders coming in from the back and from the side, and that. I think he's lacking a little bit of pace. I don't think England can throw balls over the top like they could do of yesterday. They can't do that now. They have to play to Harry's feet. Harry's coming a lot deeper now, so it's up to your Foldens, your Sakas to get beyond him, and maybe your Bellinghams to get beyond him with a bit of pace and power. Ollie Winks is come on. It's a great through ball. It's a great run, and it's a great goal against the Dutch. And I think if you want to really, really stretch Spain, you've got to get beyond them and all. You've got to get, as well as coming short, you've got to get beyond them. And I just don't think Harry gives us that leeway of going beyond. He always wants to come short for the ball. But listen, put anything in the 6-yard box, the 18-yard box of quality, and he'll be on the end of it. And that's where I think he's got to do his best play, in between the 18-yard box and play in between that 18-yard box, and don't come too deep. Play on the centre-half's shoulders, and I'm sure he'll do that. Listen, I'm not going to tell him what to do. He's a wonderful player. He's been a wonderful player for England, and I'm sure he will be down the next couple of years. But this is a big game, and they've got to use Harry in the right areas to get the best out of him.
Terry, we saw that particular story looking back at Spain's journey, and the one man that really stands out, that he was 16-year-old, yesterday turned into a 17-year-old. I'm of course talking about Lamine Yamal. What should England do to keep Yamal in check in the final?
Well, yeah, well, exciting player, 16. He's going to be 17 years old on Sunday. He's been fantastic for Barcelona. He scored his ratio goals for them. He's played a hell of a lot of games for Barcelona over the last season. It just shows you the maturity of him for a 16-year-old. It's a difficult one. He plays in that Saka role, doesn't he? He plays in that Saka role on the right-hand side, drifting in on that wonderful left foot. And we've seen many of world-class players do that over the years. But he's got the confidence. I mean, he's probably going to be up against maybe Luke Shaw, if Luke Shaw is going to be playing, or Trippier in there, or maybe Saka goes in there. We don't really know what the England back five or maybe back four is going to be. But yeah, I think they'll have to double up on him, especially when he gets in that final third. They'll have to work hard, maybe keep him down the line. He showed quality with the balls he's put into the boxes for the likes of Dani Olmo, for the likes of Morata, for the likes of Ruiz. So he's going to be one England will really need to look at and really need to stop. And I think they'll double up on him. But when they double up on him in wide areas, it does leave spaces in other areas for the Spanish, maybe midfield, to come through and maybe get a chance of scoring goals. So, yeah, they're going to have to be very, very careful with him. As well as on the other side with Nico Williams and all, two fantastic, exciting players who do push your back five back or your back four back, and they do create a lot of problems because of that freedom of self-expression.
Okay, that's a very interesting point that was made by Terry there, that if you try and focus too much on Yamal, that's a mistake you can make. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket, because on the other side, you've got a young Nico Williams as well, who can be very, very dangerous. Finally, Terry, before we let you go, pick one player for both teams that you feel is going to play a very crucial role in this Euro final.
Well, I think Rodri. Definitely for Spain. I think he's key in there, and I think Bellingham for England. You know, Bellingham will know them Spanish players inside out. Sorry, I gather that. But Bellingham will be key. Obviously, Spain will have to do the work on him, but I think Rodri will be key because he's the link. He's the talisman. Yeah, you've got wonderful players like Lamal and Williams and Olmo and Ruiz. And Morata up there, but I think he is the one what makes them tick. You know, he's the one who sets the ball rolling. He's the one who's that link between the midfield and the back four. He's the talisman. He's the strength, and we've seen what he's done for Manchester City and all in years gone by. Absolutely fantastic. I think for the midfield is key, and who gets on top in that midfield, then it will relate to the forward line.
Okay, interesting pick there from Terry Rodri, and no surprise there because he was also the man of the match for Spain in that semi-final, even though officially it was Yamal who was picked by the folks picking the man of the match. But if you look at the kind of work rate that Rodri put, he was also, for a lot of people, the man of the match in that semi-final. But Terry Phelan, thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on India Today.